Mumbai is a giant city of 21 million people. That's nearly twice its size a decade ago. And the number of slum dwellers has steadily claimed more of Mumbai as their own. Today, it's estimated that 3/4 of Mumbai's residents live in slums. Muslims account for about 50% of India's population, or 177 million persons. This makes it one of the largest Muslim populations in the world today. Muslim women in India have long suffered, and one of their greatest problems has been their lack of education. In 2006, a government report on the status of Muslims in India said that poverty and the lack of financial support are the main reasons why Muslim women do not take part in modern, secular education. For the last 40 years, a small Muslim charity in Mumbai has been helping the poor. Its name is the Modern Educational, Social and Cultural Organization, MESCO for short. It provides many services, but its major goal is to educate women, and most of those it helps are Muslims, but it helps everyone else. Its staff also is made up of Muslims and non-Muslims.
Actually, the main cause of the parents putting here the children is education. The children who are coming, they are majority are first generation learners, and since 3-4 years we are getting educated parents who are coming because of the good education what we are giving over here, the quality education what we are giving over here.
Not long ago, the charity moved its classes from garages and storefronts to a new high school in a suburb far from Mumbai. Many of these students come from the Muslim families that fled religious conflict in Mumbai. They, again, live in the slums near the school. The charity has also provided nursery school classes in 13 slums where there is no such education. It used to reach 15 slums, but it had to cut back for lack of money. The charity was begun by a group of university students in Mumbai who felt that they needed to help others. They felt they were privileged and they needed to share their benefits. And as one of their founders explained, it was their way of showing their compassion and charity, and that was a key issue for these young Muslims. So they began collecting old newspapers and clothes to raise money. Today, they still collect these in Mumbai. And today, many of the young students are still involved in the charity. One of these is Dr. M.A. Katkatai. Until a few years ago, he was a professor of microbiology at a university in Mumbai. But he left his teaching position to help the charity. And the charity first began collecting newspapers, ironically, in his family's house decades ago.
When we look at it, we look at economic development in terms of education upliftment. We feel that if we can teach our children and see that they are educated and they get into streams which they have an aptitude for, then they would be successful. And our teachers have struggled a lot because, the children who are coming here are not necessarily from educated parents. A whole lot. Maybe about 50% of the parents have not even done their SSC. People seem to recognize that there is a school which is developing and giving quality education. Now that we have come to the building, my hope is that we should be able to develop each of their native talents. So I am looking at a scenario where, if somebody is good in art, then we should be able to develop him as a good artist. If somebody is good in singing, if somebody is good in elocution, if somebody is good in boxing. So, of course it's not easy because hiring of these coaches and all is going to be very difficult. But at the same time, I feel that we would be able to raise the funds for this. Part of the money will come from the students. Part of the money could come from the institution. And we should see that each one is developing in his own right to the fullest.
Okay, hold on. Ready?
Dr. Azhar Ali Qureshi is president of the charity, and he too is one of the students. He has a practice in Dharavia, a slum where over 1 million persons live. He works here often 6 days a week, 15 hours a day. His office is crowded. It's 6 p.m. now, and he will be here for several more hours tonight. Sweltering, airless workshops and open sewers fill the nearby alleys. He could have moved his office elsewhere long ago, but he would rather be here.
My religion teaches me, as I understand, I'm not a Maulana or a Alim, in true sense of word, but I understand that my religion teaches me compassion, that you have to look after people who are not in that state of looking after themselves, and especially the widows, orphans, and it becomes a sort of a mandatory every Muslim to consider the difficulties which other people are facing and try to solve them as far as possible. As I said, my belief in my religion, Islam is not only meant for Muslims. It is in fact a message to the entire world. Sari Kainat, see, the whole world. It is addressed to the whole world, so that and it becomes primarily for the Muslims to show that their religion teaches compassion. It teaches them to look after the orphans and the poor. In fact, I have a dream that there should be hundreds of MESCOs in India, you see, because we are living in the best city of India, you see, and we have so many problems to see. I imagine and I have seen that India has got a huge population in the villages, and there is no access to potable water, there is no access to medical care, there is no access to good housing. I think hundreds and thousands of MESCOs should, come up in this country so that the quality of an individual man, woman and child is better off.
Many have benefited from MESCO. They are doctors, engineers and teachers. They've had medical care they would never have expected. They have learned to be beauticians or carpenters, and nearly all of them do not live in the slum where they once lived before.
स्वप्न से अभिसार मेरा, स्वप्न से सानिध्य मेरा, स्वप्न से अभिसार मेरा, स्वप्न ही